you're doing on purpose. Sing like a singing on key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you. Pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Yes, everybody, welcome to Later with Jason Suel. We are certainly glad that you're tuned in. It's 2021. I cannot believe it. Bo Counts is here.
Praise 2021.
I know. It's here, 2021, out the door. But we're going to be looking kind of retrospectively, wrapping up 2020 on this show. But I'm curious, kind of stepping outside that framework for a second. Technological advances over the past decade. What are you really excited that we have now that we didn't have before? I know you can use any time during 2010 to 2020.
I mean, if you really think about the past decade, at the beginning of the decade, cell phones were relatively new. I mean,
right.
Smartphones, that is.
Yeah.
High-speed internet, smart TVs, vacuum cleaners that know your name, like houses that talk. Like, it's amazing all the technological advancements that make me stutter because it's so crazy how much has happened. So, I mean, to just pick one,
it's hard.
I have a sous vide in my house. Like, even when I was younger, I would have never imagined these fantasy things. It's just, what is this next decade going to look like?
That's true. I'm curious about all of those things you just mentioned because, with all these advances in technology, there's also snags and there's a few setbacks and there's things that don't work like you want them to. Is there something?
Yeah, you have robots that talk to you and bump into your furniture. You have thermostats that mispronounce your name. You have smart TVs that never have to, they always update and reload, and you have cell phones you have to replace. Actually, everything that happened that I just talked about has a snag.
Has a snag. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right, with all of these things. But we're getting there. I think that's one of the things I love just about humanity and great thinkers,
So, the last decade was beta test.
Right.
Now we're in the new version.
Now let's go warp speed, man. Let's kick it up a notch and go to the next level. I love that. So on tonight's show, we've got a great, fantastic lineup for you. We're joined by Mark Landon Smith. As I mentioned, he's going to come on. We're going to kind of wrap 2020, talk about some things that we're looking forward to there in 2021.
Can we make a 2020 wrap?
Yeah, 2020 wrap. My Spotify 2020 wrap, I was really amazed. I'll get to that later. So stick around for that. We got Chef Haley O'Brien joining us. She always does such a great job. If you've ever been in one of her cooking classes or got to experience her cuisine, she is really cream of the crop here in Northwest Arkansas. So she's going to join us on the program. We've got artist Andrew McLaughlin joining us. Now, Andrew is coming to us through City Sessions, our great partnership with our friends at City Sessions, bringing us that music video. And then right now what we're going to go to is, I ran a lot back in 2020, and the station here kind of helped me celebrate that a little bit. We created a little piece just to talk about that. Maybe motivational for you. Maybe you're just like, gosh, Jason, stop talking about yourself so much. But either way, we're going to check it out, and then stick around because we got a really fun, packed show lined up for you, all happening later. I mean, I started running back when I was in college, which is going back along like into early 2000s, I guess. When I went to grad school in Ohio, I really started to take it seriously because there was a group of runners who I would go out running with. And so it's been a consistent part of my life ever since then, probably 03, 04. I wanted to get healthier, right? So in February of 2020, I started getting some apps on my phone that were just kind of my personal health journey to watch my calorie intake and things like that. When the pounds were falling away, I guess, I became swifter, more agile. So anyway, but that was early days, right? So like February, March, I was still kind of running my normal stuff. And then I kind of went big and started to do 150 miles a month or 200 miles a month. And then around October of this year, I looked at my mileage and I said, you know what? I could actually complete the number of miles in the year. I could do 2,020 miles in 2020. So I kind of just made a mental note that that was my goal. And then I ran a lot the past 3-4 months of the year to see that goal through. So I did the math, and it's about 4 million steps that I have done this past year, which is crazy amount of movement. But if you think about it, to see anything through, man, it takes about 4 million steps. You know, like just doing an episode of Later with Jason Suel feels like there's about a 4 million step process to get through a season. So, you know, I think it's an encouragement to folks that although it might seem like I did a lot of physical stuff this year, people, as long as you approach it one step at a time, you can get through anything. Because I know what happens for me is if I set myself this lofty goal, it looks great on paper, but if I don't achieve it, that's when it defeats me, right? So I then am like, I can never achieve that, and I put it on a shelf and I don't do it again. As opposed to this, where I was running, you know, when I started in February, I was running maybe 80 miles a month for February and March, which might seem like a lot to some people, but it was achievable. And so I started there, and then I increased my mileage every month, 11 months out of the year. The last one in December, I hit my goal and I kind of took a break because I made it finally. But if you look at my chart, incrementally, even if it was a mile more, keep putting left in front of right, moving forward, one step at a time. And eventually, you'll not only get there, but you'll be able to turn around, look back and say, look at all that I did and all the little things that I achieved, all my small achievements have led me to this great achievement.
Sam's Furniture doing good. Shine a spotlight on your neighborhood.
Well, we're relaxing here at Sam's Furniture, and we've got Brandon Swoboda, Habitat for Humanity, Washington County, joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Tell me about the work that the Washington County Habitat for Humanity does.
Yeah, so we're focused on helping low-income families achieve home ownership. And the way that they do that is they come to us as a partner family. They put in 300 hours of sweat equity. We find volunteers like you, sponsors come alongside. We build the house together. They buy the house from Habitat at a 0% interest loan and become homeowners.
Wow, that's such an amazing thing. You know,
It really
you hear
is.
about Habitat for Humanity all the time, but to hear that it's happening
Yeah,
right here in
right
Northwest
here in
Arkansas,
North-
Washington County.
That's right.
great.
Yeah, that's right.
If people are watching, they want to get involved, maybe they want to contribute some hours, maybe they want to volunteer. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can find us on the web, Habitat for Humanity, Washington County, or you can find us on Facebook as well and help these low-income families get into home ownership. It's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
It's so important. Brandon,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time. And
I wonder if Sam's would take sweat equity for this table.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. So glad you're tuned in. And I am so glad that Mark Landon Smith is joining us on the show. Mark, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to drop in.
Yeah. So I thought this could be a little fun. We have you on the show all the time. Obviously, people know you. Arts Live Theater, Actors Casting Agency, Funbags Comedy Improv. I mean, you're a playwright. You're a published playwright, for goodness sake. You've got so much going on. But I thought we could have a little fun, Mark, and kind of wrap up the year that was 2020. So I know. So I've got a few questions for both yourself and
It's
for
funny
Vocab.
that's the look that everybody gets on their face when we go, let's talk about 2020. Everyone's like, ooh, good.
Yes, totally.
That's what I imagine. This is 2020. Barbara Walters, if she was still doing that, her face would be like, "This is 2020."
Yes,
Like, oh Lord.
Exactly.
It's the year that shall not be named.
Any favorite shows? And they didn't even have to come out in 2020, but maybe you watched a lot of something this year. What about for you, Mark?
Yeah. I loved The Crown, and I've loved all series of it because I'm a big Anglophile anyway. So anything with royalty and art direction, I'm totally in. I loved that show, and also The Queen's Gambit. If you've seen that,
Oh, yeah.
It is so brilliant and so beautifully done. And then I discovered this new show called Friends, and I think it's going to go places. I think it's going to do well.
Yeah.
And I think that Courtney Aniston and that Jennifer Perry are people to watch in the future. So I'm excited about that.
You are
Yeah.
never wrong, Mark Landon Smith. You couldn't
My
be more
thumb
right.
On the pulse of entertainment.
That's right.
Yeah.
You totally do. I'm curious about this one because I recently had, Spotify. One of the things they do is to kind of wrap your year in terms of what music you listen to. So I'm curious if there was any kind of music you found yourself listening to or streaming a lot during this pandemic and during the year that was 2020. Mark, what about for you?
Edith Piaf. She
All
was
right.
and a lot of Rosemary Clooney. Seriously,
Yes.
that's a little off the rail, but that's what I found to be very encouraging. And love both.
Bo, what about for you? What music did you listen to?
Honestly, so my Spotify playlist is a little weird because I also use my Spotify at Pinpoint, which
Right.
is the bar that I
Makes
that I own.
sense, yes.
And it is a lot of 70s and 80s funk jams. So
Love that.
lots of Gap Band, Bootsy Collins, James Brown, just anything that helps that funky beat get you into the mood on a Friday or Saturday night.
So the other night at dinner, we were all rapping from our Spotify playlist, curious about what our top artists would be. And of course, my daughter, who has a Spotify children's account, Ariana Grande, the clean versions of the Ariana Grande songs were her top ones. And Jill listens to a lot of Broadway. Hamilton was the #1 jam on hers. Mine, I think I listened to a little bit of calming music this year. Composer John Williams topped my charts. I have been listening to a lot of, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, all the Star Trek, all the Star kind of related movies, space operas. John Williams topped the charts, and coming in at #2 was The Killers. So that's where I am.
He could be like the accompaniment of your life. Like every
Yes.
time you walk out the door, you start hearing the Star Wars theme.
Yes.
And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the Imperial March, which a lot of people know, was kind of the theme of 2020, I feel like. So we're moving past that on into brighter futures. And speaking of moving forward, Mark, are there any kind of projects coming up in 2021 that you're involved in that you want to let our audience know about?
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff happening at Arts Live Theater. We're looking at doing some really interesting and innovative programming for the spring and for the summer, and writing a bunch of scripts for the virtual market, and producing some stuff, and got some stuff in development as far as doing some online series. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. What we see as challenges, we see as opportunities. So
Yeah, for sure.
Make it
Yeah,
happen.
I love to hear it. That's such a positive attitude to have about it. And you joked earlier, but you really do have your finger on the pulse, and our viewers need to stay up with what you got going on in all the endeavors that you do here. Mark, always great to see you. Thanks for taking a moment to chat about 2020 and looking forward to 2021 with us.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely. See you later.
See you, Mark.
Stick around, folks. We got more happening later.
Smith & Associates Real Estate is a proud sponsor of Later with Jason Suel. They're excited to be a part of the growth and continued success in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, city dreams, stay close to me. It's you who I need in times like these. Stay close to me. And oh, country boy, stay close to me. It's your dirty hands and your faded jeans. Stay close to me. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time. And oh, city boy, stay far from me. It's your kind of life that frightens me. Stay far from me. And oh, empty dreams, stay far from me. It's your kind of world that I hate to see. Stay far from me. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time. Don't leave my side. Don't waste my time.
Yes, welcome back everybody to the show. We are so glad that you're tuned in, and obviously we're so glad to be joined right now by Chef Haley O'Brien, coming to us from her kitchen. Hey Haley, what are you gonna be making for us today? I hear it's gonna be something that are gonna give us the warm, fuzzy feels on a cold winter's night. Is that right?
You better believe it. Today, what we're going to be making is a roasted local carrot, and we're going to be using red carrots, and parsnip soup. So really, it'll be a simple, easy recipe that'll be cozy. We got some warm spices in there, and really a great way to lead into the new year with some warmth.
I love it.
Inexpensive. I mean, carrots and parsnips,
Yeah.
that's, everybody can get those.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. We don't want to hold you up. Go ahead and get to creating there, Haley.
Absolutely. Well, first off, so right here I've got a little onion. I've got mace, which, as I said, is a part of the nutmeg plant that's a little bit more delicate than nutmeg. I really find it beautiful, and the way it pairs with the parsnip will pull together. Got a little bit of cumin. Got some cayenne right here. And then garam masala, which is an Indian spice blend that features some cardamom and cinnamon.
Nice.
So we're going to get the onion started in there. Sizzle, sizzle. Toss in the spices, so we kind of fry the spices lightly as well too.
I love your stovetop. That's a beautiful, beautiful cooktop. Now, is that like a griddle thing in the middle?
It is a flat top in the middle, and let me tell you, I could fit about 3 to 4 pancakes on it. So
Whoa.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's for the next segment we have you do with us.
You're gonna make sure that your carrots and your parsnips are pretty heavily cooked. So you want them to be really soft. You want to have some good color. As I said, that crispiness is gonna add a ton of beautiful flavor to this dish. So I'm gonna throw all of these straight into my blender.
Okay, so
And
everything
then-
goes in.
All right, and then in the blender, of course, we want to just make sure that we kind of start on a lower setting and work our way up, since we're going to basically liquefy this as much as possible. I do not like any chunks in my pureed soup personally, so I'm going to go all the way up until I see nothing left.
That was incredible blending.
That was silent. I don't know. It was so quiet. I don't know how you did that.
Literally, we're going to bring it to the cooktop, heat it up, kind of let some of those flavors start to meld together, and then we're going to add a little bit of nut milk. I actually made a toasted walnut milk for this particular recipe, but you could use any kind of dairy or non-dairy creamer you want to. It would be great with coconut milk, I'm sure. Obviously, heavy cream would be awesome, but you could use almond milk, oat milk, any of that really.
So, Haley, while you're doing that, perhaps you could tell us, if people are curious right now, learning about you as a chef, are you still doing cooking classes? What's your schedule like, and how do people find you out there on the internet?
Absolutely. So I am doing cooking classes still at Honeycomb Kitchen Shop on a monthly basis. We have a porridge and curries class coming up here. And then we've also kind of scheduled another class around Valentine's Day that'll be a fancy night in so that you guys can kind of cook a little fancy romantic dinner at home that
What, is
will feel
porridge
extra
not
special.
appropriate for Valentine's?
I can also be reached at my email, all that information will be sent over with this recipe. It's fractalnwa@gmail.com. So,
Awesome.
yeah, keeping up your eyes peeled for what I have going on with Honeycomb. And then, if you have any culinary needs that you're trying to meet, I can also speak with you about that as well.
Thanks.
So I'm going to finish it with a little bit of this nut milk. And then kind of salt to season at the finish and get it all plated up. The one thing I wanted to show you guys that brought me a lot of joy and is kind of exciting me about more coziness in this new year and more connection in this new year was I found an extra special carrot in my bunch.
Oh.
And it was 2 carrots that grew together.
Aww.
How sweet is that?
So they actually are different carrots at the top, and they grew together in their little
Conjoined carrots.
root form. So stay cozy, warm up with some soup, and I'm wishing you guys the best start to your new year.
Yeah, you
it's so
as well.
Great to see you guys again.
Yeah, it's so great to see you as well. I love that carrot story. Thank you for sharing that with us. And folks, stick around because we have more happening later. Yes, that's our show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, you can find us out there on your social media platforms. Send us an email over at laterwithjasonsuel.com. And before we leave this episode, man, what a great episode it was. We got to thank all of our guests, including my great friend and friend of the show, Mark Landon Smith, as well as musician Andrew McLaughlin.
And of course, we can't forget all the delicious foods from Chef Haley O'Brien.
So good. That's it. See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Happy New Year. Still, it's 2021.